With WrestleMania 38 still 4 weeks away, WWE is taking a measured approach to setting up the card. So far, 7 matches have been booked between both nights. Tonight's show continued to build up the big event by having a few people stop by the show. Not only did Jerry the King Lawler make a special appearance, but we also saw Edge and Logan Paul show up to hype their upcoming Mania matches. The Raw Tag Team Championships were on the line as reigning champions Chad Gable and Otis put the belts on the line against RK Bro and the team of Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Let's take a look at everything that happened on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always, and hey, look at this. Dee Dee Woodson is back. All right, so Dee Dee Woodson is back with us, and what a night for her to be back here, because Monday Night Raw was live tonight from the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, formerly the Gund Arena in Cleveland, Ohio, on the USA Network, and we didn't waste any time. We started the show off as only we can with a huge championship match. The big match we've been talking about for the last few weeks, and we finally had it here tonight. Triple threat match for the Raw Tag Team Championship. The champions, Chad Gable and Otis, the Alpha Academy, defending against the challengers and former champions, Randy Orton and Riddle, RK Bro, and the team of Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. They had some words beforehand, but when all was said and done, the winners of the match, in, get this, 27 minutes and 5 seconds, and new, or should I say once again, the Raw Tag Team Champions, Randy Orton and Riddle, RK Bro, Michael Bullock, hit me with it one time. You know how to do it.
Bro.
Oh, does that sound lifelike? All right. I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, the four of us, we're all going to be in agreement on this, and we are going to have plenty to say on this. Let's get the obvious out of the way. It's been a long time since I've said these words in regards to a Monday Night Raw match. But the Phenom Michael Bullock and I, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats as always, and I'm so glad we had a Raw chat because we experienced this. Tonight, dear friends, we witnessed a 5-star classic. That's right. You heard me right. This was a 5-star classic. And right now, WWE's match of the year for 2022. Surpassing the previous match of the year, which was the Charlotte Flair and Naomi SmackDown Women's title match from a couple weeks ago on SmackDown. But, oh my goodness. What else is there to say? Wow. I'm just trying to find the words. I mean, unlike some 3-way tag bouts where only 2 men are legal at once, this match saw 1 man from each team in the ring at the same time. It allowed certain combinations of opponents to temporarily work together, but they had to tag their own partner. While Rollins and Owens would be classified by most as heels, they were the heavy favorites, judging by the crowd's reaction to them, including MF. Every single time they hit a big spot or scored a near fall, the fans erupted. In fairness, Randy Orton was just as over with the audience. The match we saw here was a lot of fun. All 3 teams had sufficient time to look good, but Rollins and Owens might have looked the best. In the short amount of time they have been together, they have developed incredible chemistry as partners. This whole match was fun from start to finish. Riddle and Orton winning was genuinely surprising, and in most cases, that's a good thing in professional wrestling. Unpredictability. Notable moments? How many? Owens screaming that was 3 to the ref after Rollins only got a 1 count on Riddle was hilarious. Rollins hit a beautiful springboard crossbody to Riddle and Gable at the same time. Otis could have won but picked Riddle up to prevent the pin when he got cocky. Orton and Riddle working together to drop Otis on the announce table with a double back suplex was a nice spot. The Tower of Doom spot with Alpha Academy, Rollins, and Owens looked great. The opening promos and this match took up the first 45 minutes of the show. But most of all, before tonight, I thought Randy Orton's greatest RKO was WrestleMania 31 when he did it to Seth Rollins. The RKO that Orton hit on Chad Gable in the middle of a moonsault, that was the greatest damn RKO I have ever seen. It kind of reminded me of that one that he did on Evan Airborne back in 2010, but this was even better. The crowd ate it up. Commentary was awesome. I mean, from the opening bell to the very end, they took us on a joyride, and it was a ride that we honestly did not want to get off of. All 6 of you guys deserve the highest round of applause. You deserve a standing ovation. And boy, howdy, do I wish we could have all been there in Cleveland to witness this epic match that we're going to be talking about for many, many years to come. Fight of the night, hands down. WWE's match of the year as of now. And for the first time in many years on Monday Night Raw, I can honestly say 5-star classic. What a match. What a match. There's nothing left for me to say. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher. New champions, Monsoon. You know what that means.
History was indeed made here tonight, and undoubtedly, we knew we were going to get new champions. I really thought that they were going to give it to Owens and Rollins. I was wrong, and I'm so glad to be wrong. To see my guy Randy Orton and Michael Bullock's guy Riddle as the Raw Tag Team Champions and now guaranteeing a spot at WrestleMania is without a doubt the best feeling in the world, man. I mean, right when Mike Bullock was doing the bro, I was doing the legendary Orton pose. I just didn't put my camera on, but I was doing it, Florio, just to let you know. It is 5 stars, Raw Fight of the Year, and right now, overall, the WWE Fight of the Year. No doubt about it. No arguments. The match, even though there was 3 or 4 commercial breaks in that match, and there was, it never lost the momentum. And that's the key. Because a lot of the times, when there's a commercial break, it kind of dips the show a little bit. Something goes wrong. It goes up and down. It goes side to side. You don't know which way it's going to go. All of a sudden, this match, this battle just kept going and going and going. And it was hitting a crescendo. And every near fall, every action that they were doing, everything that all these 6 men were doing was pure electricity. It was amazing. It was believable. I was hooked into it. Mike Bullock got hooked into it. Florio, you got hooked into it. Dee Woodson got hooked into it. This is what we've been waiting for, WWE. For years. We've been begging for you guys. Just let them go. Give us, let these guys have a match and just let these guys put on the best match possible. Don't do any chicanery. Don't try to overbook this. Just let this simmer and give us a match. The IWC will reward you if you do this. And look at what you got right now. You got the IWC absolutely praising RK Bro, Owens and Rollins, and the Alpha Academy right now. And a lot of people are like, damn, this is a heck of a match. This was a good match. This was a great match. You hear people say, and some have gone as far to say that this was one of the best WWE matches in a few years right now. So when you put the right formula and you do the right thing, great things happen. Now, this is the one big problem that we yell at WWE or we get under their skin or whatever because we don't get this on a more consistent basis. But I will openly admit it. This was the most enjoyable match I've seen in a very long time. I was riveted. I got hooked into the story. I got hooked into the action. And like I said, yes, there were commercials along the way. And I get it. It's a 3-hour show. You got to get commercials in there, everything else. But it never lost the momentum. It just kept going and going and going until the end. And WWE, this is the formula we now expect you to do on a more consistent basis. Now, I know we're probably not going to get that. But if you give us one match a week that is darn near 5-star level, and as great as this was, because this the entire segment took about 45 minutes of Monday Night Raw. Like literally 45 minutes of this show was dedicated to that match. And quite frankly, and honestly, this could have gone more. Honestly, you could have surrounded this in one whole hour and we would have been content. So this was a masterpiece we saw here tonight. Credit to Vince McMahon, credit to Bruce Pritchard, credit to Kevin Dunn, credit to the producer, whoever that was, the genius of a producer who was responsible for this match, because you absolutely annihilated this segment. This was without a doubt the best we've ever seen on Monday Night Raw in a very, very long time. Michael Bullock, new champions, RK Bro, they now have punched their ticket to the 2-night stupendous WrestleMania event.
Yes, they did, and boy, howdy, they certainly deserve it, especially after what we saw here. And yeah, 5 stars, fight of the night, the Raw fight of the year, and the WWE match of the year up to this point. I mean, I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, we knew this was going to be something good, but they really took it to a whole new level. I mean, with all these things that we saw, including, and I'm with Florio on this one, I'm calling this now the greatest RKO ever. I mean, Chad Gable was going for the moonsault, and somehow, some way, Orton converts it into an RKO.
Unbelievable.
That to me, and Florio can concur, that was the one
that did it.
That put this match into a 5-star mode.
That did.
As soon as we're like, that's it, we're done. We're calling it a 5-star classic. And yes, RK Bro did win this one, but to me, all 3 teams are winners here for the match they put on that we're going to be talking about for years to come.
They're not the only winners. We're all winners tonight.
Exactly, Flora. You couldn't have said it any better. So there's really nothing more for me to say except 5 stars, fight of the night. And with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to the returning Dee Woodson. And all I can say, Dee Woodson, it's good to see you back, girl. I mean, it's been a long time, and boy, howdy, we missed you here, and you picked a good time to return.
Well, I wish it was a permanent return, but right now my schedule at work has kind of chilled out a little bit, so I at least have a night off so I can be here. Um, and that's saying a lot because I've gone from working 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, and from 2 to 10 in the afternoon. So it's been a crazy schedule lately, but yeah, it's kind of melling out a little bit. Um, so I'm definitely here tonight. And yeah, this was definitely a 5 star match. They did an awesome job tonight. Very impressed with how the whole thing went. You know, the spots were, they were perfect. They were just right where they needed to be. And these guys, all 6 of them, they worked awesome off of each other. You didn't see um, anything wrong with anything that happened in the match. So yeah, it was great. I agree. It probably should have gone longer than 45 minutes, but hey, I mean, it was still the best 45 minutes Raw's had in a long time. So not much more I'm going to add. So it's yours, Florio.
And was that not the greatest RKO we ever saw? Oh my goodness! Wow, that did.
Oh yeah, I think we honestly, I could imagine what you did on commentary for that because I know I yelled out "Oh my God" when I saw that, and I tried not to do the Joey Styles "Oh my God," but I did yell out "Oh my God" when I saw that RKO.
The three of us, you, me, and Bullock. I mean, we all would have lost our minds.
Oh yeah,
And I'll even give you a bonus if you were wondering, what did I do on the winning moment? Riddle, I would say Riddle throws him out, and then I say 1, 2, and I do the legendary Vince McMahon, yes.
just like when you did when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose won the tag team championships in Providence. I remember that very well.
And then after Mike Rome made the announcement, that's when you come in and do your legendary history has been made in Cleveland tonight.
Yep.
How hyped are you, MF, to have RK Bro as champs again? You said it yourself.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm absolutely positively excited. And I love what Randy Orton said at the end.
Yes.
The friend. That is going to be very telling going into WrestleMania season because he said I was going to say the F word. And I'm like, Randy, where are you going with this, bro? I was about to say it too. I was like, Randy, where you going with this? I got a little worried. But then when he called him a friend, I'm like, yeah. I mean, wow.
What a way to cap it off. I mean, like I said, we're going to be talking about this for many, many years to come. A historic moment, to say the very least. And if you're pressed for time, those of you who didn't see it, I strongly suggest you go out of your way to watch this. That's all there is to it. And for the record, there were 3 commercial breaks. So just wanted to get that cleared up. So, but how do you follow that? How do you follow that? Well, unfortunately, you couldn't have found a better way to take the buzz out from the crowd. No better way to do it than with 24/7 silliness. Dana Brooke defending the 24/7 championship against Tamina. An all-female 24/7 championship match. It's very rare we get this, but we had one. Winner of the match, 1 minute and 45 seconds, and still the 24/7 champion. It is Dana Brooke. And yes, there were some more lovey-dovey moments And that's really all there was to say on that. And there's no question about it. The one thing we learned out of this is that Akira Tozawa is smitten with Tamina. So, especially after he got lucky last week, we all know how that turned out. So, and then from there, an even more perfect way to cool the crowd. You bring out Logan Paul. Yeah, that'll do it. That will most certainly do it. Well, it was The Miz. The Miz brings out Logan Paul. And then they bring out Jerry the King Lawler in all his glory, dressed in a Cleveland Browns jersey. And, you know, it was a cute segment that felt, it was kind of like a house show segment, to be honest with you. Especially that part where Jerry Lawler said, how about Cleveland for WrestleMania? And then Miz says, really? I mean, it would be interesting. I mean, the most logical place you could do it would be Cleveland Browns Stadium. So, but yeah, so we're not going to really, you know, get into that. No Mysterio stuff. And then from there, we had a tag team matchup, a return match from last Tuesday night on NXT 2.0. It was the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, squaring off against Tommaso Ciampa. And for the first time on Monday Night Raw, NXT champion Braun Breaker. Now, I don't have a time of the fall, but the winners of the match, it was Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa. So, MF, how did the NXT champ look on his first night on the, even though it was a one-night deal, but main roster moment nonetheless for the champ?
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I thought he did a good job. I thought, you know, Braun Breaker did a very good job, you know, on NXT, you know, being on a bigger stage. I kind of feel like the fans weren't really behind him, though. I think that's kind of, you know, that's the loss in translation. Ciampa got a good golden ovation. We know the Dirty Dogs are going to get the negative heat, but Breaker didn't really get over with the WWE Universe, which is a little bit of a concerning thing if you think about it, because they are trying to make him the guy, the top guy in the company, and if you can't deliver that way, you're thinking, oh, I don't know, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, they'll give him the opportunity, but you know what? I loved what Ziggler said after the match. You know, yeah, good job, congratulations, you got over here. However, tomorrow night, it's a different ball game. And this was a big title match, NXT title on the line, triple threat rules, Breaker, Ciampa, Ziggler. That's going to be a very interesting match at Roadblock tomorrow night. Obviously, I'm very excited to see how that plays out, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. This was an okay match. This is about maybe 2.5 stars. Yes, Anthony, just to confirm it, 9 minutes and 37 seconds. I know that's what you were trying to go for. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Oh, what did you give it, Fletch?
He gave it 2.5.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to be sure. So, yeah, 2.5 stars. I thought it was a good match. I mean, I thought Braun Breaker looked good in his first match on Monday Night Raw. I mean, but yeah, I did hear the no reaction for him. So, and like Fletch said, that's a little concerning. But hopefully, in time, maybe they'll start to learn to like him. I mean, he's still. I mean, Braun Breaker's still going in his early days as the NXT champion. So maybe in time, like I said, they'll love him. But yeah, what Dolph Ziggler said afterward, I mean, basically said it's a whole different ball game. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens come tomorrow night at NXT standing at NXT Roadblock. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with the rating. it was a pretty good match. Nice introduction to Braun Breaker for the main card. Although, the fans just wasn't into him as much as they probably should have been. But it is what it is. The match still went off really well. But a few spots was really good in the whole thing. So I'm not gonna say too much more. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, solid 2.5 to 2 3/4 star match. Solid outing for Braun Breaker, and I could have done without him appearing to be on the verge of getting pinned by Ziggler and needing Ciampa to break it up. But otherwise, it was a solid showcase of the young NXT champion. I'm surprised they didn't save his debut for a bigger moment, but at the same time, I wonder if we'll see more of him in the weeks ahead as they try to move tickets for NXT Stand and Deliver. And as I mentioned with Bullock during our Raw chat tonight, this is part of that NXT and Raw crossover that they've been doing. So interesting to say the least. Nice hype for the big main event tomorrow night on 2.0 when Braun Breaker defends the NXT Championship against Tommaso Ciampa and Dolph Ziggler in a triple threat matchup. Definitely will have some major ramifications going into Stand and Deliver. So with that, we move on. Omos in action against Apollo Crews. Omos wins the match 2 minutes and 40 seconds. But what happened after the match, folks? I'm going to do it as only MF can. Omos, Commander Aziz, face to face, eye to eye, nose to nose. Is that a be a man fight we all want to see?
I hate to see it at the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale, but I think that's where we're going to get to see it. Even though, man, Aziz versus Omos, batten down the hatches. Monday Night Raw, I hope you reinforce that ring whenever that match ever happens.
Could be as early as next week. You never know. So we'll see. All right. Next up, the Rated R Superstar, the Hall of Famer, Edge. Oh my goodness. Obviously addressing the what he did to AJ Styles, and WWE via their Twitter said that AJ Styles had a severe neck contusion. I'm thinking that's got to be a storyline injury, not a legit injury. So I'm sure we're still going to get the match at Mania, and I believe they've announced it for WrestleMania Sunday. So, which is very smart as far as I'm concerned. So with that, Michael Bullock. I mean, we saw this during our Raw chat tonight. The lighting and the whole 9 yards with Edge. Wow.
Yeah, and as you would say, Florio, that happened. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Edge basically said it best when he said, "You think you know me? Well, I don't think we know about this Edge that we're seeing right now." And I don't know. I mean, I think we could be leaning towards a more psychotic Edge than we have ever seen. And I don't know if this is like his way of trying to get AJ Styles to show a different side of him. So, I mean, what a segment this was, but man, oh man, it literally just freaked me out with the way Edge was. And Dee Woodson, I guess we could say Edge has undergone a change. And if this is a more psychotic version of Edge, all I can say is I don't want to be anywhere near him as I give it to you.
Yeah, and the lighting was really freaky. I mean, to the point that his eyes looked total black because of the purple light on him. I mean, it was freaky. Yeah, I'm not too sure what you would call this version of Edge, but it's definitely a more dangerous, more. Um, well, I guess you could say this would be the closest to the way he was with the Brood, uh, but to another extreme. So yeah, this was definitely a new Edge, definitely an edgier Edge, and you know, it's going to be a very interesting match, uh, to say the least, with these two. Very interesting build we're going to have in the next couple of weeks. So be interesting to see how AJ is going to come back. You know, his comeback for this. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, I mean, the small detail of Edge coming out without his music changed so much about this. We got to hear the crowd react to him as he ignored their pleas for high fives on the way to the ring. The blue lighting in the ring, while the house lights stayed off, was a nice touch. Yes, it was eerie. Yes, it was creepy. But at the same time, I freaking loved it. This, to me, was the segment of the night. No doubt about it. I mean, that visual, seeing Edge's face with that creepy lighting, and then the long fade to black. MF, I mean, that's something you and I would come up with.
Oh yeah,
What a visual.
it was powerful, no doubt about it. Very powerful visual. I loved everything about it, and I kind of felt like maybe at first I thought WWE might have botched it by throwing his music, by playing the music, but then you notice he didn't come out, and they stopped it, and then Edge came out. It was perfect the way that they did it. And yeah, the blue lighting harkens back to the days of Edge right after the Brood, where he was, that heel type guy. It was, and they showed a comparison of the "You Think You Know Me" Edge to that now this new version of the rated R superstar, and it was eerily similar. It was very similar. It was scary similar. Dee Woodson, you alluded to it. It needed it to be what it needed it to be, and it was perfect. The metamorphosis of this new Edge, this more darker, this more sinister, this more evil Edge, I loved it, every minute of it. But now comes the ultimate payoff. What do we get from AJ Styles? What type of AJ are we going to get? Are they going to harken back to the AJ from from the Impact Wrestling, the that when he became the savior, fighting against the Aces and Eights, that AJ, where he had that dark image of him? Are we going to get the harken back to the AJ who is the leader of the Bullet Club from New Japan? That AJ was sadistic, boys and lady. If we get that AJ, the New Japan AJ, oh, you have no idea, Edge, what you just opened up. If you get that AJ Styles. He wants a different AJ. And he said that he did a big over on this. I don't know what we're going to get. I don't know what's going to happen. But one thing's for sure, I'm intrigued. I can't wait to see what AJ does. I can't wait to see AJ Styles coming back to the ring, and we're going into battle. So now we gotta see what AJ does. Then we'll wait from there. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. Next up, we had a women's tag team match with WrestleMania implications. We had the women's tag team champions, Queen Zelina and Carmella, squaring off against Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, non-title match. But here come the ramifications and the implications. If Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan won this match, they would get added to the women's tag team championship match at WrestleMania. But as of now, it's Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha Banks and Naomi from SmackDown. Winners of the match in 9 minutes and 5 seconds. And added to the match, it is Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Didi Woodson, we've gone from a standard tag team match to a triple threat match.
That we have, and this is a very interesting duo. You would look back at Nikki Cross with Rhea. That was like two different styles, and then now you have another two different styles. But the biggest thing that I like about this team is, for one, when Liv came out, and she came out first, and then Rhea came out, and she actually did Rhea stomp with Rhea, and that was kind of cool to see. But they worked very well off of each other. I thought they did a very good job. But the one thing that I didn't care that much about was, the fact that, and I'm not surprised that it happened, but Carmella just kind of gave up and went over there and started playing around with her fiance, while her tag team partners trying to defend themselves. This looks like, to me, that we're going to be leading to a split between these two, because Zelina certainly was not very happy that Carmella was not there when she needed her. So I'm going to probably give it 2 stars. But I was not real happy at the end with the fact that she got distracted. But like I said, I wasn't surprised either. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, this was a solid 2.5 star match. I mean, Zelina hitting Ripley with a tornado DDT looked all right, but it looked more like Ripley threw herself than anything else. Rhea Ripley holding Mella up in a suplex while kicking Zelina away made it look very dominant. And Carmella being too distracted by her fiance to help her partner is not a good way to advertise their reality show. I hear their wedding date is scheduled to be April 6th, which is just after WrestleMania and the night after Raw. So we'll see what happened. But it was a relatively uneventful tag bout, but it was nice to see them get enough time to do more than 1 or 2 tags. We actually got to see all 4 women for significant portions of the bout. And while Carmella was distracted talking to Corey, Ripley defeated Zelina to earn herself and Morgan a spot in the match at WrestleMania. So a solid 2.5. So MF, Sasha and Naomi's odds of winning the belts just went down because we got a second Raw team in there now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This team actually could win the titles. Unlike Zelina and Carmella, I'm more worried now because of who you brought to the table. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. And here's the thing. This is actually an interesting dynamic. Rhea's already been to the dance. She's already won the SmackDown or the WWE Women's Tag Team title. And Liv is one of the most overed women on Monday Night Raw, and a lot of people have been saying that she deserves an opportunity. She deserves a chance. Well, guess what? She got it. She's going to be at WrestleMania now. She's guaranteed a spot at WrestleMania. So that's a great thing for her. Then on the other side, you got Sasha Banks, the first ever women's tag champion in WWE, and Naomi, and another person who's a lot of people's been gathering around saying that they deserve it, that she deserves an opportunity, that she deserves a chance. And she's now a part of WrestleMania. So you got 2 tag teams where WWE is working the same formula at the same time on both sides. One of the partners is a former champion. The other one is one of the most over that people would love to see go over and push and get to the opportunity, to the moment. Now these 2 teams are going at it. And as you can tell, especially after tonight, Queen Zelina and Carmella are not on the same page now. Queen Zelina is definitely focusing on the belts. Carmella has her eye on, well, because Didi Woodson is here, and Anthony, I know this is your show, I'm not going to go there. But fill in the blanks, you know what I'm thinking. All I will say this. I think we will get new tag team champions now at WrestleMania. I wasn't really sure if they were going to do Naomi and Sasha to win the titles. But now, more than ever, with Rhea and with Liv added, there's no doubt in my mind the title will change hands. The only question is, who gets it? Going in, I was thinking it's SmackDown, we're getting the belts back, and everything's right. All of a sudden, now you got another team, and you got a more stronger, more powerful team on Monday Night Raw. You know, Rhea's the power, Liv is the speed. You could say with on the SmackDown side, you can say both of them are speedsters. Both of them have finesse. They're more finesse. There's not really a strong, powerful woman on that side because they're more finesse. They're more quick. They're more agile. I think it's more that could work for Naomi and Sasha. Where the other side is, like we said, you got the brute strength, the powerhouse of Rhea Ripley with the finesse, the quickness, and the speed of Liv Morgan. And she also has a unique wrestling style that she can do the aerials. Where Sasha and Naomi, they're both aerials. They both can fly. They can both do extraordinary things. So if you really think about it, for me, yes, I am not happy tonight. I'm very concerned now because where I thought that it's in the bucket for Sasha and for Naomi, all of a sudden now, the adding of Rhea and Liv, it definitely now makes me concerned because now it could go either way. There's going to be a new champion. We know that's going to happen. I just don't know who it's going to be. Obviously, I want to go SmackDown. I want to say Sasha and Naomi. I know, Anthony, you're now backing Rhea and Liv, obviously. But that's where we're at now. So nothing more to say. Mike Bullock. Solid match. I'll give this about 2.5 stars. It's yours.
Yeah, 2.5 stars for me. I think this was a solid match, but all I could say is, Carmella, what the hell were you thinking? I mean, Queen Zelina was counting on you to help her win this match, and you are over there smitten with your fiance. I mean, fine, you could do it after the match, but not in the middle of the match. And Fletch, I'm going to use a saying that that you would like to say. She literally screwed the pooch for her team.
Very much so, Counselor Bullock. Sustained.
Yeah. And Florio, I'm gonna use another thing that we haven't used in a long time, and it's something that Chris Jericho used to do in WWE that you and I always like to do.
The list.
You know what, Carmella? You just made the list.
Yeah, you know what happens when you'd rather suck face with your little fiance there instead of focusing on your partner when she needed you the most. You know what happens when you do that? You just made the list.
Exactly. And if I were Queen Zelina right now, I'd be furious right now. And
with that Latin
yeah,
temper, with that Latina temper of hers, oh yeah.
yeah. And Fletch, you ought to know that with the, with Zelina, her Latina temper. Oh, that's something Carmella does not want to deal with, and she may have to. So, yeah, 2.5 stars is my rating, and like you said, Rhea's had that experience, of course, especially with winning the Raw Women's title last year. She's got another chance at gold, but this time around, Liv Morgan has a chance to have a WrestleMania moment
and win her first title.
And win her first title. And what better way to do it than at WrestleMania? And you know what? I'm calling it right now. I'm going to say Rhea and Liv are going to come out the new champs. And Liv will finally get that championship gold that she has been so looking to get. So, nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
Yeah. And yep, I see that comment, Didi. Absolutely. Get that checkered apron ready in that case. So, well, before we move on to our next match, it was reported this morning by our own Michael Bullock in our Wrestling Forum Messenger chat that, the Undertaker will not be going into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2022 all by himself. Oh, no, he's got another guest coming. In fact, it's someone he knows very well. Going back to their match that they had at the 1997 Royal Rumble at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Because it's going to be Vader time. The man they call Vader will be posthumously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2022. In All Japan Pro Wrestling, he was a 2-time Triple Crown heavyweight champion, a World Tag Team champion with Dr. Death Steve Williams, and won the Champion Carnival in 1999. In the CWA, Catch Wrestling Association, 1-time Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, 3-time World Heavyweight Champion, and won the CWA Bremen Catch Cup in 1987. Impact Zone Wrestling, he was the IZW Heavyweight Champion. In New Japan, he was a 3-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion, a 1-time IWGP Tag Team Champion with Bam Bam Bigelow. Won the Super Grade Tag League in 1991 with another Hall of Famer, Tatsumi Fujinami. 1989 IWGP title tournament. PWI ranked him the Wrestler of the Year in 1993. Was ranked number 2 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 93. Ranked number 27 of the top 500 singles wrestlers of the PWI years in 2003. And ranked number 36 of the top 100 tag teams of the PWI years in 2003 with Bam Bam Bigelow. Pro Wrestling Noah was a GHC tag team champion with Scorpio. They also won the tag team title tournament in 2001. Tokyo Sports Best Tag Team Award in 1998 with Stan Hansen. Universal Wrestling Association World Heavyweight Champion. Union of Wrestling Forces International Pro Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. Won the Best of the World tournament in 1994. Of course, WCW. 3-time WCW Heavyweight Champion. A 1-time United States Heavyweight Champion. Won the Battle Bowl in 1993. WWE, he won a Slammy Award in 1996, the crime of the century. MF will 100% agree with that. His infamous assault on then WWF President Gorilla Monsoon on that Monday Night Raw. Of course, going into the Hall of Fame. And then the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Best Heel in 93, Best Wrestling Maneuver in 93 with the Moonsault, 1999 Most Improved Wrestler, 1993 Wrestler of the Year, and then went into the Wrestling Observer newsletter Hall of Fame in 1996. So, and of course, for all of you TV maniacs out there, and of course, MF and I best know this, outside of wrestling, he appeared on 3 episodes of one of our all-time favorite shows, Boy Meets World. And the one I'll never forget was the one where he and Jake the Snake Roberts were on, along with referee Earl Hebner. Bruce Pritchard was the commentator and ring announcer. And NMF, there's nothing more to say except the man, Big Van Vader, whatever you want to call him. But come Friday, April 1st, the Hall of Fame, it will be Vader time.
It will be indeed Vader time. I know a lot of people were wondering, was Taker going to be the only inductee? I think we all would have agreed that, it probably should have been Taker by himself. However, if there was an individual that deserves the spotlight post-Harmony to get into the Hall of Fame, Vader's the one. This is the perfect choice and the perfect individual to go into the Hall of Fame. I think we all wish he was alive. We all wish that he would have been there to get the honor and the chance. And what Vader did is a Hall of Fame career. Maybe not in WWE terms. However, for what he did for WCW, for what he did in New Japan, that definitely would have yelled Hall of Famer in my eyes. And Vader deserves this moment. Vader was an amazing heel. His rivalry with Sting, especially in 1993,
legendary,
was without a doubt the best wars we've ever saw. And yeah, his battle with Ric Flair, his wars with Flair over the WCW World Heavyweight title.
Starrcade.
And Starrcade, to the war that he had with Hulk Hogan in 1994.
Super Brawl.
At Super Brawl. So there's a lot of great things that we can say about Vader, that this man rightfully deserves his place to be one of the immortals, to be considered as one of the elite in wrestling. And for me, this guy is truly deserving of the moment. So for me, congratulations, Vader. Well-deserved honor. And like I know Michael Bullock and I know Anthony, and like we would always say, welcome to the WWE Hall of Fame.
And how about an MF real quick before we give it to Bullock? I mean, you and I, one of our all-time favorite shows was Boy Meets World. How much of a riot was he on that show?
He was excellent. His comedic timing was absolutely incredible. And I think that's what really made us love Vader so much, is that his character was perfect for what he was doing. So yeah, without a doubt, there's really nothing more to add. Michael Bullock, is yours.
And Bullock, obviously, you're the one who reported it. And of course, you obviously will best remember him from his wars with your man, The Undertaker, especially at the 1997 Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll definitely remember his wars with my guy, The Undertaker, back in 1997. But yeah, I mean, so many great accomplishments for Vader. I mean, he had a lot of great wars with Sting and Ric Flair. I mean, a lot of big-time names. And like I said, with The Undertaker, not just at the Royal Rumble, but let's not forget also that they fought at the Canadian Stampede pay-per-view when The Undertaker was the WWE champion at the time. So, yeah. And now the same two men who fought in 97 are now going to be going into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I mean, congratulations to Vader. I know we all wish he was still alive so he can get that honor, but yeah, I mean, he definitely deserves it without a shadow of a doubt. So if there was one person that was going to go in with The Undertaker, this was the guy right here. So congratulations, Vader. Welcome to the WWE Hall of Fame. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
I'm probably the only one here that can say that I got to witness him on the football field as well as watching his wrestling career, because my dad would come into my bedroom because mom wanted the TV on Monday nights, and we'd sit there and we'd watch football in my room. So yeah, I got to see some of his football career as well as the wrestling career. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit there. I remember, the match with Undertaker. I remember all the stuff with WCW. Starrcade, Halloween Havoc. There was the Chamber of Horrors match where Vader's team lost to Abdullah the Butcher. That was a pretty good one. Him being paired with Harley Race. There's just so many great things that he's done over the years, and I mean, you could just sit here and look at his career and just see every little thing that he did, and it's just there's just so much that he definitely deserves this honor of going into the Hall of Fame, and I really do wish he was here to actually to accept the award of going into the Hall of Fame, but unfortunately he's not with us anymore. But you've got so many things that he's done over the years. He even appeared in TNA for a while. The independent circuits. He's done so much, and he definitely deserves the honor, and a big congratulations to him. May he rest in peace, and we'll toss it to you, Florio.
And one thing, Didi, one thing that Vader had in common with both of us is he was a born again Christian.
Yep.
So that's something that we definitely have in common.
We know where he is.
Yep. The good Lord's taking care of him right now. So I 100% agree with everything you all have said, and I wish he would have been here to accept the honor. I mean, the big question now, the $1 million question is who inducts him. I mean, the one name that was obvious, even though I think it's a bit of a reach because of how outspoken and controversial he is nowadays, that being Jim Cornette. I mean, another one would be Mick Foley, because he had some wars with Mick Foley when he was Cactus Jack down in WCW. They had some battles. Obviously, you can't use Sting because he's in AEW, and of course, I don't think they could use Ric Flair because I know WWE severed ties and cut ties with Ric Flair about a year ago. So, or maybe they could bring in his son. Maybe they could have his son, Jesse White. Maybe he could be the one who inducts his father. I don't know, but it'll be very interesting to see. And yes, everything you guys have said. I mean, the legendary battles with Sting, and of course, the best match he ever had was the Starrcade match with Ric Flair. That was a 4.5-star match, and one of the greatest hometown pops you'll ever see. Charlotte, North Carolina, Ric Flair winning the title. I mean, confetti falling down from the rafters afterwards. It was just epic. Of course, when it comes to WWE, many would say his best match in WWE was the match with Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 1996. Ironically, in the same venue where Raw was tonight, Cleveland. So, but nonetheless, congratulations to Vader, Big Van Vader, whatever you want to call him. Big moment. Congratulations. And, it's going to be, I can't wait to see his induction. So, all right. So he'll join Taker on Friday, April 1st. So we move on to the next match. Non-title match, new United States Heavyweight Champion Finn Balor squaring off against Austin Theory. Finn Balor wins the match 8 minutes and 40 seconds via disqualification. And, well, NMF, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, it was announced that the match with Pat McAfee and Austin Theory will be on WrestleMania Sunday. But Damien Priest attacks Finn Balor again. So I think they're definitely building towards a Balor and Priest matchup. No,
I
no
agree.
question.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And actually, I don't mind the DQ finish. I think Balor does not lose any momentum, and obviously, you want to protect Austin Theory as well because of the fact that he's going to be going up against Pat McAfee. And I'm a little surprised that I didn't see McAfee. McAfee could have shown up because, you know, him being from Indianapolis, he could have made the short trip to Cleveland just to say hello. But I think they just want to protect it. They don't want him there. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play this leading into Mania. So, no, I mean, this was a fine match. This was a good battle. Unfortunate that the way the match ended, I think, was left to be desired. But all in all, it was all right. So, yeah, nothing more to say. And unfortunately, we lost Michael Bullock for the night. So, Dee, I'll give this about maybe 2.25 stars. So it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with that. 2.25 stars. I'm not too upset with the ending either because I knew there had to be some way of tying Damien and Finn together for to build that momentum for their match. So I think it was a very well done match. So yeah, I'll agree with the rating. So I'll toss it to you, Florio.
More like 2.5 for me. I mean, it was fast paced, had some innovative offense, and allowed both guys to hit some of their most popular moves. This was a main event that both delivered and gave us a good idea of what a feud between Balor and Theory could look like. So, but yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, McAfee and Theory will go down WrestleMania Sunday. I think we're definitely heading towards a U.S. title rematch with Balor and Priest at Mania. I think we're probably going to get the Demon Balor for that one, like MF mentioned last week. So yeah, nothing really more to say on that. So 2.5 stars for me. I'm going to be a little more generous. And then from there, we move on to the main event segment. It was Kevin Owens coming out and issuing a challenge for WrestleMania. And he wanted a certain Texan to appear on the KO show at WrestleMania. None other than the Texas Rattlesnake himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I believe they announced that it was going to go down on WrestleMania Saturday with a question mark. Edie Woodson, what do you make of all this?
Honestly, I'm not surprised that he's picking Stone Cold since both of them do the stunner. And, he's been talking trash about Texas for quite a while now. So, I'm not entirely surprised about that. But I think if this does go down, which I don't see why it wouldn't, it's going to be one heck of a segment that could lead into, just about anything happening. But the one thing he said brought back a memory, because if you remember right, there was one other superstar who loved to do milk baths, who just happened to be an Olympic champion. So when Stone Cold did the beer bath, he answered on another night with the milk bath. We all know Kurt Angle did that. Here, Kevin Owens talking about giving Stone Cold a milk bath. It goes to show you storylines come back around every once in a while, and we're going to see if this one ends up any better than bringing a milk truck in and with a fire hose and spraying people down with milk. So we'll see what happens with that. So what's yours, Florio?
Yes, and I'll say it like this. I mean, had there not been several reports and dirt sheets about Stone Cold possibly returning to the ring for a match against Kevin Owens, this would have felt like a bigger deal. But maybe it may still move in that direction. But, an appearance on the KO show is along the lines of what one would have expected Austin to do on WrestleMania in Texas. If it's just a talk show, we're going to get the usual, kicks, stunners, beer drinking fun. But it's not the same as Stone Cold returning to the ring for an actual match after 19 years. And, of course, his last match, of course, as we all know, was WrestleMania 19 to complete the Austin Rock trilogy. So that's really all there is to say on this. But a nice hook, though. I'll say that for sure. But this was the second best segment of the night for me. So not much more to say here. So MF, KO. Oh boy, he's going for the big one. He's going for the rattlesnake.
Yeah, he's going for the jugular. He is really trying to tempt fate here, guys. And you know what? Props to him. You want to make this a big WrestleMania? You're gonna be in Texas. You're gonna be in Arlington. Why not go for one of the most synonymous, one of the most legendary Texans of them all? Why not go after Victoria, Texas's own Stone Cold Steve Austin? And I also love Owens' reasoning why not to go for the others. JBL's corporate America now. He's from New York. He ain't Texas anymore. That doesn't matter. Booker T, you can make an argument, even though Booker basically called him out on social media, definitely. That would have been interesting. You could have maybe make an argument for Mark Henry. One problem. Mark Henry's in AEW now. You can't go there. You can't go that route. Shawn Michaels? Ha! Yeah, every Canadian would have said no to Kevin Owens if you brought Shawn Michaels. So, yeah, let's just leave the Canadian screw job, that infamous Survivor Series 1997. Let's leave that. Yeah, let's leave that there, and we'll leave it at that. Austin is the most logical and the best choice you could have done, and honestly, you can't go any better than that. Props to Kevin Owens. Props to WWE if they can pull this off. This would be awesome. I really got nothing more to add. So Anthony Florio, it's time to go for overall review.
And based on what we saw in that tag team title match alone, it's 7.5. I mean, that alone stole the damn show. I mean, that was a 5-star classic, an instant classic that we're all going to be talking about for many, many years to come. And watch the match and you'll know why. And we had some other solid matches. We had some WrestleMania developments along the way. Of course, we have new challengers for the women's tag team titles. We got a triple threat match now with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan being added to that match. And, of course, KO calling out Stone Cold at the end of the show. So now I can understand why they had that tag title match start the show. I would have rather had that as the main event. You could have had the legendary crowd, send the crowd home happy moment with Orton and Riddle winning the belts. But now I understand why they did what they did. I wasn't okay with it at first, but after what happened at the end, I'm like, all right, I guess I can understand now. So, but 7.5, and MF for me, I give it 7.5, mainly because of that title match alone that we're going to be talking about for years to come.
Dude, I'm going to say it. 5 of that out of the 7.5 is mainly because of that tag team fight, no doubt. The rest was, I mean, you could skip over that. You just can't skip over the beginning. You cannot skip over the first hour of Monday Night Raw. You just can't. It would be asinine if you skip over the first 45 to the first hour of Monday Night Raw. That's the money shot. That's the money. That's where the money is on this show. And then obviously the Kevin Owens at the end. You could make an argument for maybe Balor and Austin Theory one-on-one. You could probably do that. But not everything was a home run. I think we all can agree with that. But yeah, no, the way they started the show was the best way to do it. So 7.5. Didi, you got the final say.
I can agree with the rating. Definitely, that first match definitely knocked it out of the park. It definitely has most of the points on the 7 stars. I can agree with that too. The Edge segment was, even though it was creepy, it was good. Kevin Owens segment was good. And you did have a couple of really good matches scattered in there. But Carmella and Corey, instead of doing that at the ringside, go get a room. We don't need to see that crap. If this is supposed to be geared to kids, then you don't need to have that right there, because that's definitely borderline PG on that one. Because we all know what those two have up their sleeve. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. I'm not entirely sure when I'll catch you guys again, but I'll be around sometime whenever I have another night that I can have off, that I don't have to turn around and go back to work within the less than 8 hours. So
Absolutely.
We'll see you guys soon. Good night.
All right. Good night, Didi. It was great having you back here tonight. You picked a great night to do it. I mean, especially after that instant classic tonight. So,
yeah, it was fun. I missed it.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll see you again soon. And all right. So now we're going to get into a special Tony's Take. Impact Wrestling had an event this past Saturday night. It was called Sacrifice. It ran on Impact Plus, and let's get into it. We had a couple of pre-match shows. Lady Frost defeating Giselle Shaw, 6 minutes and 4 seconds. And Rich Swann and Willie Mack with a win over Matt Taven and Mike Bennett of Honor No More, 7 minutes and 45 seconds. So with that, let's move on to the main card. And we started it off with the Impact X Division Championship on the line. The champion, Trey Miguel, defending against Jake Something. Winner of the match, 11 minutes and 3 seconds. And still the X Division champion, it is Trey Miguel. 3.5 stars. Big moves, people kicking out of stuff, good times. That's what I like out of my X Division matches. Great matchup. Eddie Edwards against Rhino. Eddie Edwards wins the match, 8 minutes and 44 seconds. This was 2.5 stars. More story than match, which is fine. Steve Macklin is a man that stands alone. That's all there is to say there. Knockouts tag team titles on the line. The Inspiration, Jesse McKay and Cassie Lee defending against The Influence, Tennille Dashwood and Madison Rayne. Winners of the match in 10.5 minutes. And new Knockouts tag team champions, The Influence, Madison Rayne and Tennille Dashwood. 2.5 stars. And, solid match, but I'll say it like this. Tennille Dashwood wins a title. I mean, we've been, MF and I know MF especially, because I know how much MF loves Tennille Dashwood, especially Emma, the whole Emmalina thing 5 years ago. But nonetheless, Tennille Dashwood can finally call herself a champion. What a moment that is. So, 2.5 stars for that. Big moment for Tennille. Jonah squaring off against PCO of Honor No More. Jonah wins the match, 11.5 minutes, 3.5 stars. Be a man fight. That's all there is to say about that, and a great one. MF's boy, Jay White, the Switchblade, squaring off against the returning Alex Shelley. Winner of the match in 18 minutes and 45 seconds. It was the Switchblade, Jay White. This was the fight of the night. Solid 4 stars. Standing ovation from everybody. I mean, this was an incredible match. And I know MF doesn't like Jay White, but you damn sure have to respect him. I mean, what a match that was. Wow. Incredible.
Whatever.
Understandable. Deonna Purrazzo in her Champ Challenge. Chelsea Green answers the call, and Chelsea Green wants the ROH women's title. And winner of the match, 8 minutes, 18 seconds, and still the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. 3-star match. Not a fan of the finish, but I get the feeling this was going to play into the next match, so I'm not upset about that. Knockouts title on the line. Mickie James defending against Tasha Steelz. Winner of the match in 14 minutes and 6 seconds. And new Knockouts champion Tasha Steelz wins the title. Wow, 3 stars. Surprising outcome. I did not see this coming. Big moment for Tasha. Biggest win of her career. And I think they're sending Chelsea up to be perhaps her first challenger. World Tag Team titles on the line. The Good Brothers defending against Eric Young and Joe Doring of Violent by Design. Winners of the match, 11 minutes and 44 seconds. Theme of the night. And new World Tag Team Champions, Violent by Design, EY and Joe Doring win the titles. 3 stars. I'm a little surprised that the Gorillas of Destiny did not end up being the team to take the titles off the Good Brothers. But VBD can be counted on to be around. No question about that. Before the main event started, we had a very special guest. A special guest commentator joining Tom Hannafin and Matthew Raywalt. None other than Anthony Corelli. You're saying, who? Well, for all of you WWE folks out there, that's Santino Marella. Remember him? Yes, that Anthony Corelli. Santino Marella. He joined Phillips and Hannafin for the main event. For the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, Moose defending against Heath. Winner of the match in 12 minutes and 9 seconds, and still the Impact World Heavyweight Champion. No big surprise. Moose, 2.5 stars. But wait, you think that's it? Oh, no, there's not. Guess who's back? The walking weapon, Josh Alexander. And he came out with a contract in his hands. He talked about how Scott D'Amore wanted him to keep his emotions in check. He said Scott was right to send him home. He got to spend some time with his family. And as it turns out, Josh's house is a mile away from Anthem's corporate office. So he stopped by and signed a multi-year contract with Impact Wrestling. And as it turns out, he has another contract. A contract for the main event of the Rebellion pay-per-view on Saturday, April 23rd. Moose versus Josh Alexander for the World Heavyweight Championship. MF, I think we can already call it. I think we're gonna see a new champ. I think the Walking Weapon's gonna get his long overdue moment. So that's how you end the show. 7.5 out of 10. I mean, solid outing. Nothing that was outright awful, though one could argue that having the Inspiration lose a match at any time is bad. But nevertheless, we got some interesting title changes, and Josh Alexander is back to be the workhorse of the company. You can't complain about that. So that's it. That will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you Wednesday night over on MF's channel, BraceFan95, for another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem. We will review NXT 2.0 and AEW Dynamite. And then from there, Thursday, Strictly Sports, special Strictly Sports, as we'll be previewing the conference tournaments in NCAA as we get ready for March Madness. And there is some developments on the Major League Baseball lockout situation. Talks have resumed again, so maybe something could happen. You don't know, but we'll see. We're not holding our breath, but we'll see. But if something does get done before then, you best believe we'll address it. And then Friday night, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk over on BraceFan95 with MF, Friday Night SmackDown, and AEW Rampage. And I also forgot to mention that we're going to be reviewing the Revolution pay-per-view on Mayhem as well. Forgot to mention that. And then Sunday, we're going to be doing it again for the second year in a row. We are going to have our Strictly Sports live Selection Sunday special, 6 p.m. Break down everything. We'll run down all the brackets, and then we'll ultimately tell you who we think will end up cutting down the nets on April 4th. So, and then Raw next Monday, and that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, this is Anthony Florio signing off on behalf of all of us here, on behalf of good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and for one night only, the returning Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, and especially after what we saw tonight, wrestling is beyond anything else. Wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.